All right, Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. Sort of. Let's talk about it. How's it going, everybody? FearTheBeardo here, and ladies and gentlemen, welcome to a brand new video. And what we have for you today is my movie review for Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness. What we're going to do is we're going to keep it all in one video, so I'm going to have a spoiler-free part right here in the beginning, and then we're going to get into spoilers a little bit later. But what I can say right away about this movie is that it is about just as good as the first Doctor Strange movie. It's not worse, but it's not better. It's about on par with the first Doctor Strange movie. So if you enjoyed the first Doctor Strange, you'll wind up enjoying this movie. What I can say is that there's probably a little bit cooler Doctor Strange moments in the first Doctor Strange movie with the mirror dimension and how trippy it is, and the astral projection with the Ancient One. But nonetheless, a decent Doctor Strange story. What this movie suffers from is a little bit of problems with the plot, inconsistencies, and kind of, how do I say this? There's a lot going on, almost too much for this movie's own good. And with the name Multiverse of Madness, you're going to get a lot of different people, who are going to think one thing, and then other people are going to think they're getting a different thing, and ultimately, it's just very hard to do with the name of Multiverse of Madness. There is multiversal aspects of this movie, but I wouldn't say that the multiverse drives this movie, if you know what I'm saying. It's a good time. I had a few beers before and during this movie, which maybe helped me enjoy it a little bit better. What I did like, actually, is the fact that Disney and Marvel actually had some balls to get a little bit into that horror aspect. This movie is directed by Sam Raimi, who has done horror movies in the past and have incorporated some horror-like aspects into some of his previous Spider-Man movies with some jump scares and with some character development. So that's where this movie does shine, in doing stuff that other Marvel movies haven't really done, with the scary stuff and some of the unique shots and unique takes on Scarlet Witch. But besides that, we're going to keep the spoilers because this movie is all kind of spoilery. So it's hard to discuss a little bit more without getting into the spoilers. So, Doctor Strange, Multiverse of Madness. I would say this movie is about a 6.5 out of 10. 6.8 maybe. It's not great. It's not bad. It's good. So if you enjoyed Doctor Strange, if you enjoyed Marvel movies, you will enjoy this one. So we're going to go ahead and get into the spoiler-filled section of this review right now. All right, so America Chavez in the Multiverse of Madness. Yep, that's right. This movie is nearly entirely revolved around America Chavez. America Chavez is the first person you see when this movie starts. This movie is all about America Chavez. Doctor Strange takes a back seat in this movie almost to America Chavez. So America Chavez is this new character. We haven't really been introduced at all before in the MCU. I know that America Chavez has had a comic book run or has been included in some comic books. Not a very popular character. Comic books aren't very successful, but nonetheless, we have her in America Chavez in the Multiverse of Madness. So America Chavez's powers are essentially she can just open up the multiverse. What an easier way, or the easiest way, to introduce multiversal stuff. Just create a fucking character who can open up the multiverse. Easy as that, right? What frustrates me about this whole MCU multiverse stuff is because 3 times now, they've had the opportunity to really do the multiverse stuff, and they've dropped the fucking ball every time. The first time they teased us with Spider-Man Far From Home, and that was just a farce. You know, Mysterio, Jake Gyllenhaal, the whole thing was made up. It was a joke. It was, we were led to believe that it was going to be a multiverse thing. Nope. Didn't have the balls to do it. And then we get Spider-Man No Way Home, where they do do multiverse stuff by bringing in the characters, but ultimately it doesn't stick. Spider-Man, everyone forgets who Spider-Man is. All of the villains and other Spider-Men go back to their respected universe. You know, what are we doing here? So you think in Doctor Strange, the Multiverse of Madness, they're gonna finally, okay, third time's the charm. Now, so the only real multiverse stuff going on in this movie is just the fact that America Chavez can open up portals and travel the multiverse. That's kind of really about it. They don't really do anything that's important with the multiverse stuff. So the whole plot is that you had to have watched WandaVision before this movie. And the funny thing is the lead up, the build up, the WandaVision show, which is the entire build up to this movie, is longer, has more background story and background information than this movie does entirely. It's almost like WandaVision was more important than this movie in general. Scarlet Witch has gone full-blown batshit crazy. She doesn't give a fuck. So much for like the whole Civil War thing where she's just a kid. She's just too powerful. She makes mistakes. Nope, that is out the fucking window. She is full-blown batshit, evil, demonic, and she's leaning into it hard. She's not what's her name? Wanda Maximoff? She doesn't go by that no more. She is the Scarlet Witch, and she says it to Doctor Strange, that she's Scarlet Witch, Wanda Maximoff, no more. So she wants her kids that she manifested in WandaVision, the show. Another thing that's kind of weird, apparently your dreams, what happens in your dreams is really kind of what's happening across the multiverse. You dream about what your other multiversal self is doing, how your dreams decide, or how you decide which universe is what universe do I want to, what FearTheBeardo do I want to be today in my dream? It's doesn't really kind of make sense, but that's kind of what this movie is. You kind of don't have to, you can't think too hard about what's going on in this movie, or else it just won't make sense. So she wants this character, Scarlet Witch wants this character, America Chavez, because she wants to possess her, use her as kind of like a portkey to take her into a universe where she can have her children again. And then Doctor Strange kind of, tells her at one point in the movie says, okay, if you get what you want, if you go to a universe where your kids are alive, what's going to happen to the you there? What are you going to do with the you in that universe? And then she just gets pissy. She just don't try to lecture me. And then just kills all of the sorcerers, because they all team up, all the sorcerers from all around the world. They go to this one spot to protect America Chavez. And Scarlet Witch just comes in and fucking wipes all of them out. All of them. Every single one except for 2 or 3. So America Chavez, her powers, because she can't control her powers in the beginning of the movie. Also, one thing, before I get sidetracked. This movie opens up, and the first lines, the first dialogues of this movie are in Spanish, which I wish Marvel had the balls to go full-blown with it, because how cool would that have been if we're all sitting in this movie expecting an MCU movie, and then all of a sudden they're speaking Spanish, and then that would have left the audience am I in the right showing for this movie? Am I in the Espanol version of this showing? It would have been cool, because they had a Doctor Strange and America Chavez in this upside down multiversal kind of how do you say it? It's kind of like a no man's land, where they're trying to get this all-powerful book with all of the spells in it. The best book. It's got all of the good spells, the Darkhold spells. It's the best book ever. Whatever. Like I said, it's you kind of have to not think about it for it to make sense. So the movie starts off with Doctor Strange speaking Spanish to America Chavez, and then all of a sudden, they have one line of dialogue together with each other that's in Spanish, and then all of a sudden they're just speaking English again. It's why speak Spanish in the first place to point something out, to only 15 seconds later all of a sudden you're just speaking English again? If you're gonna lean into it. Do the whole beginning sequence in Spanish. That would have been cool. But the thing is, we know with the MCU and Disney is that they just want to do that. They just want to check off the box. Oh, we spoke Spanish for 10 seconds of dialogue. Now back to English. No, it would have been cool if they had the balls to lean into it the whole way. If you're going to do it, do it. But respectively, they did do it with the scary stuff. They did lean into it and went the whole way from beginning to end with the scary shit. And that was cool. Okay, so that Doctor Strange in the very beginning dies. Dead. Adios. The one with the ponytail. And then our Doctor Strange wakes up and he's like sweating, doesn't know what happened, goes to his girlfriend's wedding. She's marrying a different guy. That's when America Chavez comes in. She teleported into this world. And now our Doctor Strange is like, oh, I've seen you before. Do I know you? You were in my dream last night. So then they go and get lunch with Wong. So Doctor Strange, Wong, and America Chavez go get lunch. And they're just kind of discussing who she is, why Doctor Strange has been seeing her. She explains the multiverse a little bit after giving him some sass. She explains that she can open up the multiverse, but only when she's scared, only when she's frightened, then all of a sudden she can open it up. She can't control her powers just yet. So she's trying, and then she explains to Doctor Strange, oh, well, your dreams are the multiverse. When you dream, you're really just seeing your other you in some other different universe. So later on, that's when Doctor Strange goes to seek help from Wanda Maximoff. And then she just straight up full-blown tricks him. It seems like she's, forgotten everything. She's given it up. She's just on a farm planting apples, picking apples and shit like that. And then she kind of like releases her little hex confusion bubble, right? And you just see that everything is dead around her. All of the trees are dead. Her house is fucking evil and everything. She goes into her costume and she goes, I'm Wanda Maximoff no more. I am the Scarlet Witch. You're going to give me America Chavez so I can use her to get my kids in a different universe. And Doctor Strange isn't having any of it. He's telling her, you made those kids up. You manifested them. They're fake. They're not real. You're crazy. So they had to protect America Chavez in this sanctum where all of the sorcerers are there. So she wipes all of them out. And then America Chavez gets scared, obviously, when Scarlet Witch goes down there. They're face to face. Boom, opens up a portal to the multiverse. Doctor Strange and America Chavez flying through a whole bunch of universes. This is the one part that was cool. That this was kind of really the only part in the movie where they did trippy, weird, upside down, fucking funky shit like they did in the Doctor Strange movie, the first one. They go to a universe where everything is paint, a whole bunch of weird kind of shit, futuristic stuff. One of the worlds looked like Portal. You ever play the game Portal? It kind of looked like that, a weird testing facility, whatever. Anyways, they're just flying through a whole bunch of universes. They land in this one universe that kind of looks like ours, except there's a whole bunch of flowers and plants growing up all over the buildings. It's very colorful. This is where we get our Bruce Campbell cameo. He's just a street vendor selling hot dogs and giving America Chavez a hard time. So Doctor Strange does a spell on him, and he's punching himself and slapping himself, beating him up, and he's like, oh yeah, he'll be fine. It'll only last 3 weeks, whatever. Anyways, in this universe, in this new universe, they go to the Sanctum Sanctorum because Doctor Strange says, the only person that can help us is me. The only person that can help me is me. So he wants to go find another him. So, well, he goes to the Sanctum Sanctorum, and there's a memorial, a huge statue that says, Doctor Strange died fighting Thanos or whatever. And then the door opens, and it's fucking Mordo. He's got long dreadlocks now, and he looks at him, and Doctor Strange is whispering to America Chavez, this guy doesn't like me. This guy tried to kill me in my universe and stuff like that. And he's like, I'm sure he's not going to like me here. And then Mordo walks up to him. He's looking at him and everything, and he's like, brother, I missed you, and gives him a hug and shit. Which, by the way, just real quick, this is another thing. Our Doctor Strange is experienced enough. We've seen him in enough movies. Enough weird shit and bad shit has happened, in the cosmos and the multiverse and everything like that. Our Doctor Strange, in some points of this movie, is very stupid. He's very gullible and very stupid. And the fact that he trusts Mordo just because he gave him a hug and called him brother. This is kind of where they get to even more of a mess. He's drinking tea that Mordo gave him, and all of a sudden they're tripping out, and like the frames are fucking going funky and shit like that. And both him and America Chavez are kind of freaking out, and then they pass out. They wake up in this facility. They're in glass boxes, right? And then he sees this universe's Rachel McAdams. I forget her name. Christina? I think it's Christina. Anyways, I'm going to call her Rachel McAdams because that's her name. She's like detached because she did used to date this universe that they're in, that Doctor Strange. It didn't work out. It seems like that's kind of a theme, that they love each other, but their lives, they can't be together. And it seems like across every universe, it's kind of like the same story for Doctor Strange and Rachel McAdams. They just can't be together even though they want to. So he's like trying to convince her, like, let me out of this cage. You don't know what's going to happen. Scarlet Witch is fucking crazy. She's going to come here and tear everything apart, which she does. But they don't believe her. Mordo comes in and goes, all right, we're going to take you to speak to the council, which is the Illuminati. So they do the whole Illuminati, but they treat it a little differently in this movie. The Illuminati is essentially, it's the Avengers. This universe's Avengers, but they don't call themselves the Avengers, but that's exactly what it is they're the Avengers, but they call themselves the Illuminati, right? This is where, personally, I think this is like the only real multiverse kind of aspect that really kind of mattered in this movie. This was kind of like the payoff, right? This is where the cameos are. So first, you see Captain Carter, the first Avenger, right? They call her the first Avenger, Captain Carter, like the What If series. Anyways, it's, what's her name? Haley Atwell. Okay. She's playing Captain Carter, and she's not terrible. You know, it's fine. You know, I don't mind Haley Atwell. You know, it was cool. And then you get Black Bolt. It shows Black Bolt. Now, I never watched Inhumans. So, I think it was called Inhumans. I never watched it. I didn't give a fuck about it. I do not know if it's the same actor, if they're trying to do the same timeline, or not timeline, but if they're trying to make it a little bit continuity, like correct. But anyways, it's Black Bolt. All the suits are comic accurate, by the way. He's got the mask on, and he's got like the cowl, and he's got like the forks on his head. And then you're introduced to, who was the next one? Captain Marvel, which is Maria Rambeau. She's got like a shaved head. And here's the thing. If you're going to do a different Captain Marvel, we already have a miserable, boring, plain face Captain Marvel in the MCU with Brie Larson. She's just boring, tough guy, and just no charisma at all. Very lackluster. This would have been a great opportunity to put some class, charisma, some, you know, a Captain Marvel that the audience can enjoy. But they didn't. It was the same it's the same attitude and personality that the Brie Larson Captain Marvel had, but it's just Maria Rambeau, just very rude, not fun, just no charisma. Just thinks that they're just the best total badass, and if you don't think so, then you're wrong. That's how it was. It was the same exact shit as the Brie Larson, and I wish they would have done this character justice to at least give us a Captain Marvel that the audience can enjoy and relate with. Not at all. Not at all. Boring, rude, and just, I don't know. It was just a turnoff. It was just... like, I just sat and I looked at it, and I wanted to give it a shot because I knew that she was probably going to be in the movie just based off of, like, the trailers and stuff. And it was just missed opportunity. They could have really done this character, like, redo it. Redo the whole character of Captain Marvel that we dislike and change it. Make Maria Rambeau likable. Give us a Captain Marvel that's likable. But they didn't. Completely unlikable. And then we get the real surprise. And that was John Krasinski as Mr. Fantastic, as Reed Richards. And Mordo introduces him as the smartest man on the planet, Reed Richards. And the suit looks good. Everything was great. He had the scruffy beard. Like, the fan castings, like all of the art that you see on Instagram of John Krasinski photoshopped as Mr. Fantastic, it was perfect. It was great. He looked good. And then another cool thing, and I hate when they fucking do this, because the movie could be shit, but then they do one thing to try to, like, get the nostalgia hit from, you know, fans like me and you who used to watch the old 90s cartoons of the Spider-Man and the X-Men. Professor X rolls out in his yellow floating hover chair type thing, and you hear the the fucking 90s X-Men theme, and they do it just a little bit. But I liked that, okay? I like that. I'm a nerd. It's okay. But it doesn't last long, because just like Doctor Strange said, Wanda... So there's this thing called dream walking. Dream walking. So she can sit there with the Darkhold book and just fucking astral project herself into a different universe's Wanda's body. So she can stay in her one universe and think hard enough and to possess a different version of her in that universe where Doctor Strange and America Chavez was, which is what she did. So then she goes into the Illuminati's headquarters and just starts fucking shit up. So then there's a breach. They know there's a breach. So we have the Illuminati, you know, Mr. Fantastic, Captain Marvel, Black Bolt, and Captain Carter. They go to, like, the front door where Scarlet Witch is. And they go to stop her. They're like, hey, you know, Wanda, take it easy. You know, we can figure this out. We can, you know. And this is what the MCU does, because they love. So I'll just say it. She just, you know, kills Black Bolt right away. She takes away his mouth. So when he goes to, you know, project his power out of his mouth, it's sealed up. So he fucking blows up his own head. He, like, melts his brain and just fucking falls over like a rag doll. And then she just turns Mr. Fantastic into fucking silly string, into fucking ribbons. Like, no joke. You see John Krasinski, 2 minutes later, fucking dead. Dead. And Black Bolt. But of course, they get rid of, and she kills the two male Illuminati members, so that, of course, the MCU can get their glorious, beloved, all-female fight scene, where clearly the females are much stronger and competent than silly Mr. Fantastic and Black Bolt, who are just lame and easy to kill. But then, like, what didn't make sense in that whole situation is that she was so overpowered, Scarlet Witch, she was so overpowered to kill Black Bolt like that, and then kill Mr. Fantastic like that. But all of a sudden, when it's just all the girls left, Captain Carter and Captain Marvel, all of a sudden she, like, takes it back, and now it's like a fist fight. She's not even really using her powers except to, like, grab shit and, like, throw shit and stuff like that and to block. She's not doing any spells to, like, you know, trick these other two characters, because, of course, they want their beloved all-female fight. That was very noticeable. But anyway, she fights Captain Marvel a little bit, but then she just grabs the shield and fucking Darth Mauls her, like, cuts her right in fucking half, like Darth Maul. Captain Marvel split in half, legs, torso, fucking separated. So then we get our Captain Marvel and our Scarlet Witch fight, which, of course, Scarlet Witch is going to win. She takes this statue and just fucking smashes Captain Marvel. Done. So then you get Professor X. Professor X is, like, trying to, like, you know, get her mind, trying to help her. And all of a sudden he gets teleported into, like, this dream sequence where even he kind of doesn't know what's going on. And he's walking and he goes through this door, and then he sees this pile of rubble with just, like, this box. And he feels a presence in, like, the hole, like this hole in this rubble. And then Wanda's out there. She reaches out a hand like, help me. And then he grabs it. And he thinks that he's helping the Wanda that is trapped inside her body. But that's not how I took it. I took it as he was tricked. And when he grabbed and made contact with that Wanda, that was the bad Wanda, like, grasping him, getting inside of his head. And then once he did that, she shows up behind him and fucking snaps his neck. Done. Mr. X died for like the third or fourth time that we've seen in live action. And I don't know about you, but I don't know. I'm getting a little tired of seeing Professor X die. He's died, he died in X-Men Last Stand. He died, did he die in Dark Phoenix? I didn't see that movie. So he could have died in Dark Phoenix and they did some fucking weird shit. I don't know. But he died in Last Stand. He died in Logan. And he died in Multiverse of Madness, man. I feel bad for Patrick Stewart gets called up. Hey, you want to be in this movie? And Sam Raimi's like, yeah, I'd love it if you would, show up and play Charles Xavier again. Except, you're going to have about 5 minutes of screen time. And then you're toast. But, maybe that's what Patrick Stewart wanted. So this is where Doctor Strange, America Chavez, and Rachel McAdams are running away. And all of a sudden, Wanda is just like, for the sake of plot, she's not really trying as hard. She's just kind of chasing them. And this is where Doctor Strange finds the Illuminati's, there's a secret door that this universe's Doctor Strange had enchanted and done stuff that leads to the no man's land where they can get the best spell book ever because the Darkhold, Scarlet Witch has destroyed the Darkhold twice on accident, or I think one of the sorcerers destroyed her Darkhold, so she needed to get another Darkhold. But Doctor Strange needed to get the best book ever, the best magic book ever that's got the Darkhold and everything in it. Well, when they go to this no man's land to go get it, of course, Scarlet Witch shows up, and she fucking destroys that book, too. And then she grabs America Chavez, possesses her, opens up a portal, which, by the way, it didn't really explain it, but Scarlet Witch knows how to use America Chavez's powers better than America Chavez does. I didn't quite understand that, and the movie didn't really explain it. But as soon as Scarlet Witch got a hold and possessed America Chavez, it was like, oh, she knows how to use her powers better than she does. So she opens up a portal and, sends Doctor Strange and Rachel McAdams into a universe that another Doctor Strange has kind of already destroyed. So there's this concept in this movie which kind of goes against what Spider-Man No Way Home did. Apparently, if somebody from a different universe, or multiple people, I think, make it happen faster, but if somebody from a different universe goes to a different universe and they don't belong there, sooner or later, more so later, I guess it takes a while, those two universes will kind of, imagine two Earths, and they just kind of, come in on each other, and it makes, a voided universe, a voided world, I forget the name that they used for it, but it was the world kind of just dies. It doesn't make sense. There's just a whole bunch of stuff happening and nothing really kind of makes sense. It's like a dead planet almost. Like when the two planets go into each other and overlap each other, it kind of creates a dead planet. So then they go there. Of course, Doctor Strange says, the only person that can help us is another me again. So they go to the sanctum in this world, and there is a Doctor Strange there. But he's just real gray and dark. And he's got a longer goatee than the other one. And he's been through some shit. And he's got the Darkhold attached to his hip. And Doctor Strange is like, I'm going to need that. And he goes, oh, have you ever touched the Darkhold? Are you happy? Are you happy? Because once you touch the Darkhold, and if you're not happy, you're going to want to change some shit. You're going to want to, go to a universe where you are happy. They wind up having a fight, Doctor Strange v. Doctor Strange. And this fight, it was clever, but it was also kind of weird. So, in the fight, bad Doctor Strange knocks good Doctor Strange on the ground. When good Doctor Strange goes to go up, he presses his hand on the piano. And then the piano, a whole bunch of music notes fly off. And then he sees the papers of the music and everything like that. And he waves his hand over the papers and pulls the music notes off of the page. And then they're throwing music notes at each other. And, it's Danny Elfman who's composing it. So he's a creative, brilliant composer. I'll give him that. Yeah, he does a good job. But imagine scary tunes, like Beethoven. I think there was a Beethoven song in there. Scary tunes from scary movies. They must have been on the music sheets. So when they're fighting each other, you just kind of hear tunes of other scary movies and other scary tones that, you've heard before in real life. But it was kind of weird. They're throwing notes at each other. I can't decide whether it was creative or weird. I think it was both. It was both weird and creative that their fight revolved around musical notes. Because you've seen Doctor Strange fight so many different kind of ways that this one was kind of weird. And the fact that that was the only thing that they were using in that fight was these throwing music at each other. I thought that was kind of weird. Ultimately, good Doctor Strange wins. He gets the Darkhold. And then at this point is where we get to the end of the movie. So Doctor Strange is like, he has to go possess the dead version of himself. Remember the Spanish Doctor Strange who died in the very beginning? Well, Doctor Strange does the same dream walking thing that Scarlet Witch was doing earlier, except he possesses his dead body from another universe that America Chavez just happened to bring with her through the multiverse in the very beginning of the movie. So he possesses this dead Doctor Strange, this zombie Doctor Strange, to go help and fight and save America Chavez, who Scarlet Witch is using, you know, like a port key, you know, just wherever she wants to go, she's just using her as a port key to go to different universes. So ultimately, zombie Doctor Strange helps break America Chavez free. And then Wong tells Doctor Strange, you're going to have to steal America Chavez's power. You're going to have to, you know, drain her of her power so you can have it and use it to fight Scarlet Witch. And Doctor Strange is like, no. This is America Chavez's movie. This is America Chavez's time to shine. So I'm just going to give her a quick motivational speech and boom! All of a sudden she can use her fucking powers at will. All of a sudden she just like clenched her fist and she's like, I know how to use my powers now. And it's like, okay, movie. All right. But you can't think about this movie to enjoy it. So you just got to not think about it. So America Chavez, what she does to defeat Scarlet Witch is she gives her kind of what she wants. She opens up a portal to a world where her kids are. And then when she's in there, she sees her other self and just fucking throws her across the room. Scarlet Witch throws her other self across the room and really fucking hurts her. Because she wants to be these kids' mom. It was kind of like the argument that Doctor Strange brought up earlier, like, what are you going to do to your other self? Well, she was just so angry and enraged and wanted her kids and everything. She finally got what she wants. She's like, fuck it. Like, boom, just fucking throws her other self. And then her kids look at her as Scarlet Witch. She's all bloody. Her eyes are like dark because she's been doing these evil demonic enchantments and spells and shit like that. So she's very wicked looking. And the kids are like crying. They're scared. They're like, get away, you demon. Get away from me. You hurt our mom. Like, we hate you. And then she goes, no, like, I'll never hurt you. Like, I love you. Like, I just want to be with you. And the kids are just not having it. They're like, yo, you hurt our mom. Who are you? Like crying. And then the other Scarlet Witch who was thrown, or I think she has powers, but she's not evil. So the good Wanda that was thrown across the room gets up, goes to the Scarlet Witch who's on her knees, like touches her face. They look at each other in the eye, and then she goes, they will be loved. And then Scarlet Witch is kind of like accepts the fact that, like, I'm never going to have my fucking kids in this universe or any kind of universe. Like, it's just not going to happen. So then America Chavez pulls her back through, closes the portal, and then Scarlet Witch is like, well, fuck, I guess I lost. So I'm going to destroy this temple with all the demonic spells and all the Darkhold spells that were in this temple. And she pretty much, you know, nobody really is safe from death in the MCU. That's kind of a weird way to say it. Nobody's ever really kind of dead. Or they have to be shown, like, is there a body? Because the MCU, you know, but she does. She does collapse this building on top of her, and the movie kind of wants you to think that she killed herself, but I doubt it. Pretty sure that Scarlet Witch will probably return somewhere down the line. But anyways, that is kind of America Chavez in the Multiverse of Madness. This movie revolved around America Chavez the entire movie. And then another thing, there were several fights in this movie where Doctor Strange is fighting and he just gets knocked out, incapacitated, just like sleep. and America Chavez or Rachel McAdams has to come in and save the day. And I'm not sure why they do this or why they did it so much. Like, once is kind of enough. This is Doctor Strange's movie. I want to see badass Doctor Strange stuff. And there were several fights in this movie where he's fighting, he's doing cool stuff, and then all of a sudden, boom, he gets knocked out, hits a fucking wall, and then he's asleep. And then it's left up to America Chavez to come in and, you know, save Doctor Strange. And, you know, they really should have, you know, they should have called it America Chavez in the Multiverse of Madness, because that's kind of how it was. But anyways, I think that's all I had to say about it. Oh, another thing. Some of the CGI in the very beginning of the movie was very bad. And I'm not talking like the special effects of the monsters or the magic. I'm talking like simple stuff like bodies running. Like, there was a part where Wong was running and he got hit into a car, and it was just totally obvious that it was a CGI body hitting a CGI car, and then all of a sudden, like, real Wong stands up. And it was just so painfully obvious. And they say that the best CGI is a CGI that you don't notice. Well, this CGI was very noticeable. And I'm talking like just simple, like a high shot, like the point of view is at the top of a building and Doctor Strange is looking down at something happening. And just the cars driving on the street were clearly, blatantly CGI. It's like you couldn't film a real fucking taxi driving away. Some of the bad CGI was mostly in the beginning of the movie, but it was very obvious, very jarring. But towards the end, that's probably where most of the production money and the CGI money was going towards, was the end fights where they really needed the good CGI. So the very first beginning 30 minutes of the movie, the special effects kind of suffered. But other than that, I think that's it. So, America Chavez and the Multiverse of Madness, what did you think about it? Let me know down in the comment section below. If you like this video, show it with a thumbs up. I would really appreciate it. Share this video with a friend who you think would enjoy it. Subscribe to the channel if you're new. And we'll talk to you again soon.